So in this video, we're going to start building our light plot on the lighting positions that have been selected. You'll notice we have focus points, we have positions, and we have instruments layers. And the most casual observer can see that I've already plopped in a few lighting instruments. First, let's start with our positions though. We want to have some focus points on the stage. And we'll begin those focus points with the focus point tool in this lighting tool template. Click on it if it's not open, and in this object that has a little fixture and a little pool with a plus in the middle of it, we'll click on that, and that will give us our focus point tool. We're going to place our first one right in the center of the space, and I'm going to be putting in some zone lighting here. Zone lighting is distinctly different from the key and fill lighting or the jewel lighting, some of the other systems that are modifications on this. So I'm hovering over where I'm going to want to put that focus point. I'm going to click on it, and what do I want to name it? I'm going to name it C, and you'll see why here in just a moment, no pun intended. We're going to have a couple to the stage right of it and a couple to the stage left of it. I could also be making that a center stage. And my focus height should default to 5 foot 10 inches or 5 foot 6 inches, someplace just over the stage. I'm going to click OK, and there is focus point C. Now, I like my focus points to stand out on the plot when everything gets drawn out. So I'm going to change the color of this. I'm going to X back to my select tool, and then I'm going to click in the space to deselect the object. That's important because I want this color change to carry through all my upcoming changes. I'm going to click magenta. I like the way that it stands out on the plot, and in black and white or even a color rendition, it tends to fade in importance compared to the black and white lighting fixtures. Now, I didn't get that one selected in magenta, so I'm going to select it and change it to magenta. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to hold down my control key and click D. I can also do that by editing. I lied. Yes, I can use it in my edit pull-down menu. I can use my duplicate selection. If this is the first time you've been using your duplicate selection, you're going to see that it in preferences in your workspace, you're going to have an option to offset duplications. I don't like to offset duplications. Yours will probably come up this way if it's the first time you're using it. So, to review, you'll go to Spotlight, go to Tools, hold down to Options, go over to Vectorworks Preferences, and toggle the offset duplications to off. Click OK, and now you can work as I did with the duplication being in the same space as the original. Here's why this is important, because I want to offset this duplication myself, and I want to offset it 8 feet or 9 feet stage right of where focus point C is. So I am going to hold down Control M for move. This is another keyboard shortcut that works around your edit tool. And you'll remember X goes left and right. I want to make my duplicate C area move to the stage right or my left by minus 9 feet 0 inches. Click OK, And there it is. Now what I'm going to need to do, of course, is correct its letter designation. It's currently got a designation of the letter D. I am going to want to make that using my lettering tool. No, not using my lettering tool. Changing its name in the object info for a focus point, I can click in that space and turn it into area B. Return, and there we go. It was assuming that I was going to put in my focus points from left to right. So when I select C again, and I duplicate it, and I move it instead of negative 9 feet, I'm going to move it positive 9 feet. It will make it correctly for me. And then if I duplicate that and move it 9 feet, that will give me a duplicate focus point E off here at the edge of the stage. I'm not crazy about how I spread those out quite so far. I would probably make them 8 feet, and I'm going to do that here in just a little bit. So now I have 2 zones of lighting, areas A, B, C, D, E across the front, F, G, H, I, J across the middle. I could put in another zone upstage of that. And it's time to start putting in lighting fixtures. I have 3 of them already here, just to illustrate how we might put a front or a high back or a side light into the space. So first I'm going to need to go to my instruments layer, and then I'm going to need to start putting in lighting fixtures. But before I do that, I need to reveal something to you about the lighting label system. We're going to have to invent one of those. What I have chosen right now is, in our label legend manager, the Theater by the Grove label, I call it. And if I double click on that, you'll see that I can edit the fields, or I can edit the 2D layout. Edit the 2D layout for a moment to show you how I've laid out this lighting fixture with channel, unit number, color, and focus. Exit the symbol. You're going to need to create one of these in your own Vectorworks space. So we're going to do that together. I'm going to go to Tools, pull down to going to go to Spotlight, pull down to Label Legend, and go to your Label Legend Manager. And you're going to add a label legend. Now, in this, we're going to name this. Right? It's asking us to name the label legend. So I like my own name. We'll call this label legend Brian. And what you're going to want to do is identify the elements that you're going to want in your label legend. And it's going to show you all the different attributes that are possible to label your fixture with. This can be a device type, probably not. Instrument type, no. Fixture ID, every attribute of a lighting fixture is possible to label it with. But we're only going to be interested in unit number. So you want to click over in the left-hand column to use that. We're going to want color to be labeled. And we're not necessarily going to want dimmer to be used in our label legend. We're going to give it that information, but it's not going to show up on the plot. We will want the channel to show up on the plot. And there are also universes that can show up in the plot if we're using a lot of automated fixtures, color mixtures, things that have lots of attributes, and using a second universe out of our board to control those, we might identify a second universe or what universe number it is. But in our case, in a simple plot, we're not going to do that. So we have so far unit number, color, and channel. The other thing that I like to have here on the light plot, some people do, some people don't, is the focus point. And that's clear down here in number 66. I'm going to put the focus in there as well. I'm going to click OK. And that actually is the same information as in the Theater by the Grove legend. So now we're going to click on that to highlight it, because we have to tell it where we want the fields to lay out. So we're going to click on what you just created with your name on it or some other clever handle and edit that 2D layout. Now you'll see unit number is in that left-hand side. I'm going to drag it over the fixture. Color number is going to go in front of the fixture. Channel number is going to go behind the fixture. And focus is going to go in front of the fixture, but beyond the color. You'll notice also that I left everything in magenta from my focus points here. So let's just go ahead and select all of that. Change that to black. That makes me happy. And we'll exit the symbol. Now if we apply that symbol, we have to apply that symbol to our plot. So we're going to go to the Spotlight menu. We're going to pull down to Label Legend Manager, and you'll see over in the left-hand side, we want to click on the active one. Click Done. Okay. Now it's time to put a lighting fixture into the light plot. And we're going to do that in our next demonstration.